you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing. Where do you come from? And where you going? What are you feeling tonight? And what are you showing? Where do you come from? 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 Where you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing.
I want to know what happened. We have no crash and no one to blame. But what's going on, everybody? We are live. This is another week of the download. Thank you for joining us. We're coming at you on July 19th. I'm joined, as always, by an awesome panels of knowledgeable, good-looking fellas. And we are going to give you the facts about the news, or at least try to. We got global outages affecting services around the world. We got FTC blasting Xbox in the booty. And then we got AI coming into video games on a more realistic and fun-raised method, which I hope to see video games take a massive leap forward. Plus, we'll talk about updates and some other awesome games, so stay tuned with us. Alright, I will get into the intros. Let's hear what's going on with everybody and what they've been gaming on, because we are all avid gamers here. So I'll start first with this beautiful face we got here, Mr. SPG. Why don't you tell us what you've been gaming on this week?
Well, I've been playing Shadow of War. I talked a whole bunch of people into playing it, and I'm playing it on Gravewalker right now, which is very difficult. Fun, though.
Yeah, that Shadow of War, I got to see Wilson play. It's incredibly like a tactician-type video game. So, appreciate the art of war in that one. Callie, what have you been gaming on this week?
I've been playing Suicide Squad ever since it became free to play thanks to Prime Gaming, and it's definitely not worth the price, but it's definitely a good game. So
yes, I'm jealous that you have the PC option to be able to play it. I unfortunately feel like my laptop would burn up into smoke if I tried to run that. But I hope it comes onto GFN sometime soon so I can join you guys. Jem, what's been going on? What have you been gaming on this week?
I started getting back into City Skylines 2. I wanted to try out the new economy update where they've completely redesigned the economy of the game from scratch to make it more challenging and realistic.
Oh, really? I mean, I had issues as is. Are you saying they made the economy more difficult in City Skylines 2?
They have. I do like the changes. It takes longer to get the things that you want, but I like the progression. It's not like you can immediately put like 20 buildings and screw up your city instantly. It takes a long time to get the buildings now, and it affects your city. So I like the new pace of it. Once you know what you're doing, money's not an issue, but I just like the new pace.
I'll always remember the tip you gave me, which was make parking everywhere. And I was like,
Yes.
sure, I'll make street parking everywhere. But the consequence of that is the traffic. The traffic gets so much worse, I swear. I swear, my streets were always jammed up, but I was flush with cash.
Yeah.
Maker, what have you been gaming on this week?
I've been gaming on Dark Souls 3 a lot. I was able to finish up the Final Fantasy 14 expansion, Dawn Trail. And those are the two main games I've been playing for the past week. But I look forward to checking out Flintlock once I'm done with Dark Souls.
Epic, yeah. If you didn't catch it, Maker and I took down Dark Eater Madir, the slave dude, the final boss in the DLC, and the final boss in the game all in one stream. It was an epic battle of just straight up victories. Well done, well done. Ray, what have you been gaming on this week?
Dude, I've been doing some crazy gaming. Been playing a lot of Once Human with Houston. Houston built a house. He destroyed my house and rebuilt it. It looks awesome sitting on the lake. Also been playing The First Descendant. Suicide Squad is awesome. I am so glad I didn't pay $70 for it. It is awesome. And guys, even if your computer can't play it, you can still claim these damn free games, because you never know, you might get a decent PC later on you can play these games on. Claim those games are free. Played Flintlock, loving the game. It reminds me of Forspoken and Greedfall. And then you guys know I'm a Marvel snapper, and I've been playing lots of Marvel Snap, so that's what I've been gaming.
Wow, thanks for that. You are gaming on some awesome titles, sir. I look forward to getting into Flintlock myself. I honestly go into GFN every 6 hours, and I just type Flint, and I'm waiting for it to pop up. So
I was doing the same thing. It's coming, guys. It's coming.
Fingers crossed. Well, let's get into the news we got this week. Whoa. Rudig, slow down. Let's give a shout out to everybody who's come in and joined us live. Shout out to Houston. What's going on? Thanks for coming on out here. Don't tell me what to do, Ray. Besides, I already did. LOL. We got Ray, the Gaming Cyborg, Simply Pwned Gaming, and Nerds World. Hope you're doing well, everybody, and thanks everyone for coming on out and hanging out with us as we talk about the download. So we got global IT outages bringing down services worldwide. Yesterday, the entire world was in panic as Microsoft linked services were going down one by one. This led to massive amounts of delays. Planes were shut down. People couldn't get onto their Xbox Live, which is just as devastating as missing a plane. A multitude of services were down, and we later found out that it was linked to CrowdStrike, a cybersecurity firm, and apparently they hosted devices which were linked to a Falcon sensor, which caused a majority of these issues. So to me, I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat and say they found a scapegoat and they went with that. But I will leave it up to the panel to see. I'm going to ask the question, and I'm going to start with SPG here. Why do you think this is happening? Aren't we in a place in the future where internet services should be better than they were 5 years ago? Do you have any sort of insight or theory on why these global outages could be happening? And we're just chatting here, right?
Well, you mentioned putting your tinfoil hat on. Well, listen, man, a whole bunch of our cybersecurity infrastructure is smoke and mirrors. What I mean by that is there's a whole lot of backdoors. There's still exploits. It's the Wild West out there in a sense, man. So Microsoft put the blame on somebody already. That's interesting. Got to pass the buck sometimes, but a whole bunch of things can interrupt these services, and there's hacking going on all the time. And tinfoil hat. We're about one really good solar flare away from all of it disappearing anyway. So there's that.
So that did affect my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law was flying from Vegas to DC, not fly because of the issues. He had to find some way to get out to DC, and that sucks.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go to the IT experts here as well and see if I can get sort of an insight maybe into what happened. So, Gem and Maker, I'm gonna call on you. Well, Gem, any sort of insight into what's happening here on a technical level, or anything you can say to the global outage?
I found it impressive. First of all, I really enjoyed it. It was a great day. It's still going on right now as we speak. I just love computer anarchy. But basically, what I find impressive is that essentially what happened was you got the software from CrowdStrike, security software. I could see the irony in that, where they pushed an update and it affected millions of computers worldwide, like instantly. I think that part is impressive in technology, where if they need to patch something really quick, like if there's a new hack and they found a solution to patch it, they can just click a button and millions of computers are now protected. But in this case, it caused a blue screen of death on millions of machines, and the only way to fix it is to get IT people to physically get to the machine and launch it in safe mode and put in a command that the CrowdStrike has, said publicly, like say, just put this command and it will be working. And they've already published a fix, but you need to actually, do the workaround first. Then you can download the fix. So yeah, it's a hell of a day.
So, and you're reveling in the anarchy, which is fun to see. Um, Maker, is there anything you wanted to add to the subject? I know we've had covered from the IT and the tinfoil, but I wanted to give you a chance in case I missed anything on the subject.
Not really. I mean, I feel like there are, well, I run into many issues that'll sometimes brick these PCs, and it just this just is one that is like ingrained in like the software, and it just kind of sucks. A lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. And as I'm hearing now, it seems like it was fixed as of 3 hours ago, or at least that's the message. Microsoft says cause of outage at 365 apps and services now fixed. So hopefully flights will be back on track, and people's services will be provided back to them, I'm sure, over the weekend, if not by Monday. So if anything, just take the weekend off and blame Microsoft. Bill them. That's my advice for your weekend plans. So let's move on to the next subject. It seems that the FTC blasts Xbox for Game Pass prices increasing and new tiers as product is degrading. So we're hearing that the FTC is not happy with what Microsoft is doing after they gave them the big caboodle, which is ABK. The Federal Trade Commission, which is USA, is taking aim at Xbox for their Game Pass increase. And it says at the same time it's degrading its product by providing more tiers, a convoluted system. I'm going to bring it up to the panel to say, one, do you agree with the FTC? And two, what are you hoping the changes will be? So I'm gonna start with Ray there, and maybe you can give me a sort of insight into what you feel as a gamer in terms of what's happening to Game Pass, being a Game Pass subscriber.
See, man, I'm kind of like in the middle because I think it sucks anytime subscriptions and prices go up. But then, as us gamers, we complain about their games, we complain about their cloud infrastructures and everything like that. And I feel like, it's a business and they got to make their money. And it's what business are. They're to maximize dollars and stuff. And I get it. As long as I'm getting, if they're gonna give me the price, then just make sure you give me the service. I want to get on my Xbox and be able to play games and not see a network down. I want to get really good games to play with the subscriptions and not, ass games. So, yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I'm saying not a little. Like, I was like, babe, Xbox is going up. What? So it sucks, but it is what it is. And but no, FTC, yeah, man, like guys made a deal. You guys were talking about all these wonderful things that you were gonna do, then you just stepped up with the price. So yeah, it sucks. That's my man.
Yep. Yeah, thank you for that input. We're definitely feel it on both sides. At one, they are providing a lot of value, bringing Call of Duty, Blizzard games, all of these titles to Xbox Game Pass, but at the same time, price increases and a convoluted tier system is a little bit worrisome to see. Maker, any comments on the FTC blasting Xbox's game price? Do you agree with the FTC, or do you think they should stay out of it after they made their ruling?
I just think it's gonna be a hard fight, because at least in the letter that they provided, it was they said that implying that since Xbox had a monopoly on the subscription, which to me doesn't make any sense because PlayStation Plus has more users than Game Pass. So I don't know. I don't think that's gonna really, work in their favor. I think I definitely think it sucks that the price is rising, but they also kind of make it seem like there's not anything that they're getting out of it. Or like that they're not adding things, which, as we see, we're going to be getting Activision Blizzard games. So I guess that's an increase in games, but at the same time, you're losing day and date games for the standard pass. So, I don't think that they're because I when I was reading it, they left out that standard will now give you multiplayer as well, and they didn't. They basically made it seem like standard is just a degradation, and there's no positives to it. But to me, when I think it's understandable why the prices are going up, just because value is increasing. But that's just me.
Yeah, but you say you're not going to raise prices and then you do, but you win a deal, and then after you win the deal, you wait however long you need to, and then you do whatever you want. So it is business.
Correct.
Operate within whatever rules you're given,
Yeah.
and do what you can, and wait for the slap in the wrist and deal with it then. Callie, any inputs as a Game Pass user? Do you agree with FTC? Or do you want the FTC to back off?
I'm muted. I'm kind of torn a little bit. I kind of like with them because their current the way they have it now, it's like, to be honest, if you do the math, it's not worth paying for core and the online or whatever, or core and the console version, because it'd be cheaper just to do ultimate. So this sounded like it was a good idea at first, although I was a little bothered that the smaller uh, subscriptions don't get day one. But yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about it.
Well, whatever happens, I think Xbox is just going to keep doing what they do. Microsoft's going to keep doing what they do. And I think once they announced it, it was written in stone. So I hope the FTC does come back. And the best case scenario for gamers is that Xbox says, we apologize, the prices increases in September will not continue. And that would be the best case scenario for gamers, but only one can hope.
I think the bigger issue
Go for it.
that the FTC needs to have teeth. If they can't do anything to Microsoft after granting them this power, and they're supposed to not do certain things, if there's no teeth in there, then all of this is for naught. It doesn't even matter. Microsoft will, like you said, wait out the terms and do whatever the hell they want anyway with their market share.
Exactly.
There's no loyalty. I was team Xbox. I was excited when they got the acquisitions, and I was like, man, this is awesome. And then I feel like I got it done without the lube. That's what I feel.
That's a good point you bring up, because right now this is a government regulatory body now going up against a American corporation. And they already let them go once based on certain rules, and now they're breaking the rules again. We'll see if the government organization, aka the FTC, does have any teeth, or if this is all just, oh, we got to pay people to do something, and this will all lead to nothing, and the corporation will win. So it's a bit more than just FTC blasting. It's a bit of government versus independent. So we'll see how it plays out. Which one's David and which one's Goliath?
David's the short one. Goliath's the giant.
No, I mean in this scenario.
They're both Goliaths. To be
Yeah.
honest. It just depends on who's got the bigger club or who paid more. Like, it's going to boil down to, just like we see how they can poison our rivers by sewage and other stuff. They could spend $1 billion to fix the issue, or they'll just pay the $1 million fine and keep making their $1 billion industry. So, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. There has to be some give and take here, but they're supposed to regulate and stop monopolies and all that. But you see where we're at.
Yeah. Yeah. So, best of luck, FTC, but my money's on the green guy. Let's move on. Artificial intelligence raises $16 million to use AI to make NPCs feel more realistic in video games. And Gem, this would be, I think, great for the video game that you just showed me previous to this game. Or this show. To have a more realistic NPC feel. And I'm all for it. You know, I will say one of my biggest disappointments in Spider-Man 2 was jumping down into the streets and feeling like nobody acknowledged that Spider-Man had just landed in front of you. Like, it shouldn't, like, somebody come out of nowhere and just bow to me. Like, I'm Spider-Man. Like, what are you talking about? So I hope the NPC does create, or this investment creates more of an engaging experience for the gamer, more of an immersive experience, and something that brings the world to life. A former group of Google DeepMind, because, you know, Google probably canned them, is improving how non-playable characters, NPCs, behave and interact with games. I think this is all a improvement and progression that I think we would all like to see. And what I think is awesome is the startup is coming straight out of Edmonton, Alberta, aka Canada made, as well as a partnership with NVIDIA. So, what do you guys think? Do you think NPCs nowadays are fine? Or do you think we're due for this AI boost to NPC architecture? And I'll start with SPG here. Thanks for joining.
It could literally like change gaming forever. And what I mean by that is I've been playing a little game called Shadow of War, and they have a nemesis system. And they're the best NPCs you can go up against in games, and it's a like a decade old, like it's 10-year-old game. What it is you'll fight an orc. They have audio dialogue where they talk shit directly to you. You thump them for a bit, and if you don't kill them, you throw them into fire or you beat them with a hammer and then you run away. The next time they see you, they might look at you and go, "You hit me with your hammer, but this time I'm gonna, whatever." Well, if you think of that, which that's what makes me put so many hours into that game, the loop of all the interaction with the NPCs and how they feel like they're alive or doing something when you interrupt them. That is going to change into you can have full dialogue conversations with them. Like they're going to be able to pipe in your mic to where you'll be able to talk shit right back to the orc, and then the orc is going to respond back to you with AI algorithms to where it's going to feel like a real full-fledged conversation. Now, that's just for Shadow of War as an example, but think of GTA to where you could be stealing a car, pull the guy out, and he wants to have a conversation with you, or he's screaming bloody murder, or he's talking about your funny ass hat, and you shouldn't be able to steal the car wearing that hat. I mean, it could be super, super cool. And a whole bunch of people are going to try to find sentience and get them to describe their life. And even that is interesting. You could find a whole bunch of clips on the internet revolving this subject. But I do think that it could reinvigorate, it could change gaming, and it could also take a whole bunch of voice actors' jobs.
Oh yeah, and we can see that already happening with the finals, voiced completely by AI, and that is a free-to-play PvP shooter. But I'll get into Jem. You've had your hand on a game before. Would you bring AI into it for your NPCs if you felt like it was just a plugin that would make things more realistic?
Absolutely. Well, without hesitation. I um, I don't remember if I mentioned this before, but when it comes to single player open world games, I don't like them. I'm very picky with it. I only like Elder Scrolls and GTA and Red Dead games because um, the the world feels alive, and mainly that's because of the NPCs of that world. So in Elder Scrolls, specifically Skyrim here, all the NPCs, they all have their own daily lives and schedules, and it brings life to the open world. Same with GTA games, where the NPCs react based on your actions. You can, like, for example, drive a car, hit someone, and they realistically, with ragdoll physics, gets rolled and stuff. Or you can even just honk at them, or you can go fast and brake immediately, and the NPCs will still react to that even though you haven't even touched them. And it just brings the world alive, and those are the type of open world games I love. And then Red Dead is just next level on detail with NPCs. So with AI NPCs, if it's easy to implement, if it makes it way better, I might actually start liking all the rest of the single player open world games. When it comes to open world games, like I said, I only like Elder Scrolls and Rockstar games, and I like it in multiplayer games like MMOs because every single person I see in an online world is a real player, and we could pretend those online players could be like really AI NPCs. There's not going to be much of a difference between real players and NPCs. That would be like the best blur. If I'm playing a single player open world, I would love AI NPCs to act like if they were real, players in an MMO.
The
But yeah, that's
Well,
pretty
isn't
much
that
my
called the Turing test? Am I
yeah, the
correct?
Turing test. Yeah.
Where they try to decipher which one is. is AI or which one is, or if a human can't tell who's a person
Yeah, if
versus a
human can't
computer.
tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind if I can tell or something, but it's just like there's thousands of games that are just so disappointing in NPC department. They're just nothing but a sack of potatoes. So any improvement to NPCs, I'm 100% on board with it.
Wandering
Have you?
around a world that feels dead sucks.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can't stress this enough. I hate open world single player games because of that. It's literally just that NPCs are just so robotic. It just pulls me away from the immersion.
Drew, can I throw in some? Let me tell you
Yeah.
something. First of all, anything that's innovating and upgrading games, I'm all for it. But dude, I'm thinking of a game like Phasmophobia or something like you're already scared in some of these scary games. Can you imagine NPCs that just give it to you in a horror game? They come out and they scare you and talk to you, or that's what I'm looking for. I'm like what they can do with some of these horror games with NPCs.
Yeah, I would even say I would like to see this as a plugin that gets sort of retroactively installed in games. I'd love to see sort of old games come to life through this. You know how Fortnite upgraded with Unreal Engine 5? I'd love to see the same sort of premise take place where you could upgrade games with AI Engine 5 type of thing. But go
It would
as
just be
SVG.
shocking. It would just be shocking to have a conversation with an orc about Lord of the Rings lore. Like, in game.
That would be
Like,
amazing.
what do you think about Sauron? Oh, Sauron. Oh, Dark Lord. I mean, who knows, dude? It could be really cool. But it could take a lot of jobs too. But I really think it will expand the gaming world and make it feel alive, like Jim was saying.
I would be
They
like,
can-
so what are you
Oh,
attracted to? Like, how do you wash down there? Like, what's the sex scene like as an orc? Do you guys just orgy up? Like, well, how's that go? Like, the questions are just boundless, right?
You
Start
think they
bringing
would
up
wash
politics.
carefully, but they don't.
Everyone's thinking about this, right? Do orcs are orcs monogamous, or do they just orgy up and just sort of see what plays?
Play Shadow of War. You'll meet an orgy orc.
Shrek. That's all I got to say. Shrek.
So I'm hearing there's an orgy orc, and I'm hearing there's Shrek,
Dude,
who is
dude,
obviously
literally,
monogamous.
Look,
Shrek
bro,
is
there's
the
literally
Shrek
an orc that will ambush you. In his name or in his dialogue, he calls you supple and soft, and he can't wait to touch you and shit. Dude, these orcs are crazy. You should try that game, Rue.
Yeah, I mean, and then to like retroly have that AI, I think put into old games and really give them life. I'd love to go back into GTA and like see people alive and stuff like that. So that would be my main hope for it.
The scripted nature of some of these interactions could go out the window. And then every interaction is extremely different based on what you're doing, what you're saying, or what you're holding. Like, it could be amazing, like Jim was saying.
And that was sort of my expectation day today, but no, we're still on everything scripted. So although I will say scripted events have their place, like you wouldn't want to go through, say, Elden Ring, and then this person's pissed off at you and you can't progress through a mission because you took a shit somewhere or talked to an NPC. It's this certain way. So I think scripted has its place, but I also NPC cut free.
They've done really good. Developers do really good at hiding the jank and how things fit together and work. On your screen, it might be seamless, but behind the scenes, it barely works. I mean,
yeah,
it's true.
But I wanted to jump into the next one. So we'll keep you updated on AIs coming into video games. If you want to look up more on artificial agency, that is the company, Mr. Brian Tanner. And that is the company I will definitely be following and seeing what kind of innovations they will be bringing to the market. But we're back on Xbox as they just keep making the splashes. But they have done something interesting where they've created every Xbox into a Steam box through GeForce Now. They've opened up their architecture and allowed 1,900 playable games via GeForce Now. Pretty crazy. You're allowed to access, obviously, GeForce Now through certain games, but reading through the article, you could simply go on an Edge browser and activate GeForce Now as is through their browser and play 4K high fidelity cloud gaming on your Xbox. Stunning moves, and I think we're seeing Xbox becoming more of a third party box instead of this exclusive platform that they entered the market with. I guess we'll go around. Maker, since you've unmuted, if you're around, do you want to comment on Nvidia now joining the Xbox console? Do you think this will be the future? We'll see this Xbox become a third-party box, as it seems to be slowly becoming, and PlayStation will be more of the exclusive ecosystem.
Well, I think they want it to be a more open box. I think Xbox kind of has been they erred on the side of being more free than the other two consoles. I mean, they're the first to drop their titles on PC, and I mean, technically, the Xbox was the first to have a dedicated hard drive in consoles, and they've always kind of had that kind of PC. You know, I mean, it is Microsoft coordination. I think this is more shifting that way. Is they want you to have more options. It's the same with the rumor about Steam coming to Xbox. This now just makes it seem like Steam coming to Xbox is an inevitability. So
kinda there, right?
I mean, with GeForce Now, technically, yeah. But eventually, I think there will be a dedicated Steam app. Same with GeForce Now.
For
I
sure.
think there's going to be a dedicated GeForce Now app too. In the long run, I think this is just the start.
Well,
I'm interested. I'm a PC person though, so I don't mind this. More options is always good for me.
well, there you go. And also, this is a way for people to be more economic with their Game Pass, because now you can access Nvidia GeForce Now with PC Game Pass. So this will allow you to sort of still get those day ones for $11.99 and have access to the internet if you're just plugged in via internet. So I think this is a great option for people, and a cost saving measure when stuff was literally thrown in their face. But again, you have to subscribe to GeForce Now. Shout out to GeForce Now. Advertisement time. They're having a 50% off sale. 50% off. 50% off. That's half price off right now for GeForce Now until August 18th. Be sure to claim it now. Cloud Gaming, what up, what up? Pinnacle of Cloud Gaming, 4080 RTX.
Priority tier and ultimate. Priority tier and ultimate tier, half off.
Yeah, so right now is the perfect time to get into that, to get a PC Game Pass, and really just save money on your subscription and use the internet service that you have provided to you to really play some awesome games at high fidelity. Don't let frames hold you back. The power of cloud will release you. All right, well, Callie, I'm going to ask you, as an Xbox consumer, do you think it makes sense to get PC Game Pass and a half-price GeForce Now priority tier instead of paying for Ultimate?
I think it's all dependent. Some people can have access to xCloud and not really have that much difficulty or latency. And then some people will have that difficulty and they won't have the computer, so they can do GeForce Now. And instead of having to download the GeForce Now app, you can just use the Xbox app that's already on your PC if you have a Windows, and you can just access GeForce Now through that. I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah. But I definitely think that right now people may be thinking if cloud gaming works for them. I mean, they've hit priority to $6.99 a month. That's Canadian. So that's less for Americans. You're talking about $4.99 probably American a month. Then you have PC Game Pass, which is $11.99. So that gets you everything the premium Game Pass would get you, but for less money. So it's something to think about. If you're a cloud gamer, if you have access to good internet, now is a time to be a little experimental and save some money. Anyone have something to counter my crazy my proposal here for GeForce Now and PC?
I do.
No, guys, can I add something?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
For you guys out there with the laptops, man, with the computers that don't have the RAM, that don't have the graphic cards and stuff like that, and you're missing out on playing these games, dude. Playing in the cloud, you don't have to worry. You don't have to smell your laptops or your or your computer smoking, man. Jump your ass in the cloud. It really makes a difference. I have a RTX 3070 Ti, and I see the difference on an RTX 4080. And I crank everything on ultra. I have a monitor that has a lot of hertz, and I see the difference. And it's so, dude. Oh my god, especially when you do the ray tracing and everything, it's freaking amazing, guys. I'm serious. Take advantage of it. It's half off. Okay, go SPG.
Go.
Well, something
We'll go SPG and then we'll go Maker.
Something you got to think about in the long run here is it good for us? Hell yeah. Is it good for Xbox as a brand? No, I say not. Because you're going to get a better quality experience playing those games with higher frames, crank everything up. I think that it shows how weak the console is, and it's going to turn on, like, let's say a bunch of people adopt this and check out, say, Starfield or any other games at 90 frames with a 4080 in the cloud. They're going to go, what in the hell have I been playing on? They're not going to want to go back the other direction. So it makes sense for us, and it's good for us to give us options. But for Xbox as a brand, they're cutting their nose off for xCloud. And I don't know, nobody... If you're given the option for GeForce Now or xCloud, you're going to go GeForce Now all the time, depending on what ecosystem you're invested in.
Yeah, I have to agree. Using GeForce Now definitely gives you the pinnacle experience, but you are going to need, a base dedicated 50 megs up and down that you're going to be able to say is isolated for your GeForce Now gaming. So be aware of that. Even on the app, if you download it, you can run a speed test directly on the app, and it'll tell you whether or not your service is good for it. But Maker, any more comments on the topic?
Yeah, I wanted to mention that you got to make sure your internet is able to handle it and that you have a good connection. That's always a factor. I also think, I think people might be second guessing it. GeForce Now once they have to pay the full price, right? Like the half price is a great deal, but I won't lie, like $20 a month for Ultimate is it. I mean, that's the cost of Game Pass Ultimate, right? So, like if you think if you're paying full price, you're paying, what is it? PC Game Pass is $12 plus the $20. That's $32. I mean, that's still that's a
yeah. After the 6 months, you then got to take into consideration, what are you going to do moving forward. But right now is a good time to dip your toes in, because I think for 6 months you could really take advantage of this 50% off. I mean, you're getting 34 Canadian dollars, 35 Canadian dollars, which is like 20 some odd bucks for 6 months USD of GeForce Now priority. Link that up with PC Game Pass. I mean, for 6 months you could be gaming a little bit cheaper and then pay the consequences later. But I'm just saying it could be a good time to try it out for new people. I think that's why they put this 50% off sale, because now they're showing up on 30 million consoles all over the place, people are going to be looking at this and being like, you know, that's not a bad price to jump in and try it. But yeah.
Yeah,
More
but
thing-
I don't think that's gonna like shift people to PC or even like I think some people will probably utilize GeForce Now after this, but I don't think it's going to be like a massive audience, unfortunately.
Only time will
Especially since
tell.
it's only 1080p right now.
Yeah, that's for priority. If you
I
bump
mean,
it.
like if they use the link right to play the game on their Xbox, they're just gonna be playing at 1080p.
Oh, is that the case? They don't have
'Cause
access to the
it just
4K
takes
through
you
the
to
browser?
the website,
Ah, okay. Yeah, you
or
need the app.
does it do 4K?
Well, I think a dedicated app is next.
Yeah.
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 Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into this one before everyone's favorite game, Crash Bandicoot, is gone. Crash Bandicoot 5, which was in development at Toys for Bob, was reportedly been canceled. According to sources, this is due to low sales of Crash Bandicoot 4, which was critically well received. And they ask here, are you disappointed by this news? Well, I blame anyone disappointed that the open market apparently killed Crash. That is sad to see. Why was it not why was it critically received well and not bought well? Curious to see. I mean, it came out in 2020. Is it a victim of, you know, subscriptions and people thinking games should come for free? I mean, this was during the time of COVID. People should have been inside and buying this up like gangbusters. What happened to Crash? Why did it crash? Jem, our local Crash expert, is there any insight that you can give into what's going on with Crash Bandicoot 5? Why has it been canceled? And why did 4 not perform?
Well, first of all, there's no way there's low sales. Like last time I checked, it sold at least 5 million copies. Like that's really great. For even like a AAA game, selling 5 million is great. And I alone paid like 4 million of them. So I think it's got nothing to do with low sales because it hasn't got low sales. It's not even like badly reviewed. It's got positive reviews. It's a great game, and I am being biased here as well. I think it's definitely my most favorite Crash Bandicoot game. But I think it's got nothing to do with like low sales again, because it doesn't have low sales. What I think has happened is like the developers have said, like reportedly, that they were working on Crash Bandicoot 5, as in like this project was approved by Activision to make this game, and then eventually the rights got given to Microsoft, and then Toys for Bob bought themselves, and they're working on a whole new project with Microsoft. So the way I see it is Microsoft were the ones to cancel Crash 5, and I will never forgive them for that. It's just simple as that.
So it was as simple as them scooping up the IP rights another company did, and then they no longer were able to make the project or sell it.
Yeah.
I read resources when Microsoft took over. It had something to do. I mean, since then, the most recent Crash Bandicoot developers, Toys for Bob, became an indie studio. Having that said, the team now lacks the resources to produce games on the scale that they used to when they were still associated with Activision Blizzard. So that, I mean, this is somebody that's just assuming certain resources, and that can hurt a game when you like you're under somebody's umbrella and you're not getting the funding or the resources that you need. I've seen that somebody did a King Kong video game and a company took over and they got no resources whatsoever. They just said, "Here's the title, here's idea, just do it." And so I think they said, "You know what? Maybe we're just gonna cancel it." So, and I hope I that was one of my number one games when I would play. When I first got my PlayStation was Crash Bandicoot. One of my favorite commercials was Crash Bandicoot calling out Mario. Hey, hey, plumber boy, come out! I love Crash Bandicoot. I hope they can do 5 because that's what we need. That's what the fans want. So I hope they deliver, man. I hope they don't cancel it. I hope they hear us and make Crash Bandicoot 5.
Let's keep it real. Crash Bandicoot is better than Mario, and Crash Racing is way better than Mario Kart.
I was recording that clip, so we'll see what happens with that comment.
Man.
uh, well, it's too bad, but if they started it, maybe it's not dead completely. Maybe an outrage from the fans or Jem here, who owns 4/5 of the Crash 4 stock, will be able to turn things.
Wait, hold on. Did you think the global IT issue was just random? After I heard this news,
There's consequences to these
Yeah.
actions.
I will hold Microsoft by the balls until they bring Crash back. Oh, well, you know what?
Another thing they promised, man, like with the acquisition. It's like, all right, man, we're gonna get an awesome Crash Bandicoot game. What the F, Xbox? Damn.
No,
I don't think they ever said that they were gonna make a new Crash, but
there was that one guy who from Xbox, he did like that Crash Bandicoot arm cross thing, and he put that on his Twitter
oh
profile photo. And
yeah,
it just pissed off a lot of Twitter fans for some reason.
Jem
I'm
remembers.
I'm wondering if they want to keep those IPs for in-house studios, but like who would make it then? Like Rare? Like I don't know.
Rare would be a great choice.
It'll sit right next to Banjo and Kazooie.
Oh God.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
He'll go around collecting puzzle pieces.
Hey, I didn't think we would ever get another Perfect Dark. We're getting another Perfect Dark. So
Maybe we'll get
you
a
never
Sonic Crash team up.
know. You never know.
Never
That'd
know.
be great.
Sonic's faster. But yes, unfortunately, the news today is Crash Bandicoot 5 has been canceled. So if you have a pre-order for it, try to get a refund. Well, that being said, the next game I wanted to look over, we have an open beta for this weekend. However, not a lot of people know, so I am yelling from the rooftops. Try Concord out if you haven't tried it already. Right now there is 1,200 people playing on Steam, which I think is crazy, although it peaked at 2,000. I just think a PvP of this scale should have maybe hit a higher note. Again, I'm just going to say it, Concord is not that bad. It is free to play for this weekend. I definitely just give it a tryout. Yeah.
I have a question about Concord. Do you think that they did not get enough players to test their stuff earlier? So now they're just like, hey, it's open to everyone. We need to test this stuff. Because those numbers are abysmal.
Yeah, this was always an open beta that was planned. The last week, I think they were worried that they didn't have enough people, so they opened it up to people on PS Plus. I do think the reception is not going the way they wanted it to go, and I feel as if we have now created a culture where free-to-play games are mucking up the waters, and you're not sure which business model to really follow.
Well, it seems like this with 5v5 live service titles. It seems like if you're going to give us the same generic bullshit with almost the same animations and the same level designs and stuff, Make it free. I think that's where we're headed, like head first, because we're going to keep getting the 5v5s. We're still going to keep getting the live service. This is a trend that's going to move forward and get worse, in my opinion.
But it's just crazy to think that, you know, all of these people created this game and they're just going to put it out for free. I mean, where is the market? And then you're just building games to profit off of people buying in-game cosmetics. Like, I'd rather, in my full honesty, I'd rather pay for the game up front and have no microtransactions than play a game with microtransactions all over the
but
place.
they want both. They want you to buy the game and they want you to buy microtransactions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's all, dude.
Um,
Look, man, there's
well,
no
it's-
loyalty, guys. These are companies. It's maximizing dollars, getting your dollars out of your pocket. It's no loyalty. No loyalty.
yeah, so it's okay to watch them roll the dice and come up snake eyes. It's their this is their gamble, and they're probably going to fail, and that's okay. A whole lot of games aren't for everyone, but when the monetization gets egregious, and I'm not saying this one is specifically, but when the monetization becomes egregious, like you cannot expect somebody to grind, pay for skins, and pay for the game. If your game is designed with a mobile-esque like grind in it, I'm sorry, you should probably give it away for free because it's going to leave a whole lot of people pissed off for putting their trick money down.
I just
You
want
know
to
what?
say this
Go ahead.
Concord game is published by Sony PlayStation. They are the ones who have the numbers. Not always do the developers have numbers on like how much they've sold and stuff. That they get the info from their publisher. So Sony is the one who knows how many pre-orders this game has on PlayStation and PC. What the beta numbers are like. So they have all this information. I've wrote a prediction in the Discord that the game will probably go free to play because again, Sony's got the numbers. They know how many people pre-ordered. They know what the profit margin should be and stuff. And I think if they're logical about this, they should make it free to play, and then tell the developers, hey, you need to add monetization to the game, like battle passes or whatever. And I agree with Rudix. I prefer games where you just buy once and then there's no microtransaction whatsoever. But you know, this is a live service game. It needs to stay alive. And Sony, again, Sony's the one who has all these numbers, and it's up to them. So if the game dies, it's because of PlayStation. It's not necessarily because of developers, because developers don't have a say in how much the game should be priced and how it should be monetized. They have zero say in that. All they have to do is make a good game, and it all falls down to the publisher when it comes to Concord right now.
Well, there you have it. PlayStation is flying the plane, and Fire Sprite is the luggage. And we'll see where it goes.
Been
Oh.
fun, guys. I mean, I had fun. I mean,
Yeah, same.
Find the I teamed up with Rue and Miss Phoenix, and we played with some other people, and I had fun. I actually had fun. I like the game, but I'll be honest. I mean, I played games like that style in Overwatch, but I'm not. It's not a bad game. It's an actual you go up against a team. It's very challenging. I liked it. So
Speaking of
yeah.
negative press on games, I want to bring up Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League for just a minute. That is another game that probably should have been heavily monetized towards skins and given away for free. I played the game for free. I would have never purchased it, but playing it for free, paying $0 for the game, the experience is like a 6 something out of 10. But I didn't pay for it. These things have to be taken into consideration, and as the market expands and we get more of these titles, they're going to have to figure out a way, like Jem said, to try to keep these alive somehow.
Good shout.
And I'll welcome Wilson to the panel. Thanks for coming on in. Hopefully you're doing well, sir. All my best to you and your pooch.
Yes, we're home. The dog is fine. We're back from the vet. Oh, it's been a long day. It's been a very, very hot day. Of all days to have to go to the vet, it would be when it's a heat wave outside. You know what I mean? It always lines up badly like that. But what are we talking today, fellas? We got some good news on?
Well, the next one I wanted to go over is, if you didn't know, now you know, new update is hitting No Man's Sky, and it's
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah.
absolutely looks stunning. I went into it, took some pictures in photo mode, which they updated. The world looks much more alive. I didn't quite understand what was added, but now I do. They've added this new mode to it, an expedition, which is a combat-based Starship Troopers-esque combat mission where you essentially go in and have to exterminate these bugs, which I think is very cool. Hey, No Man's Sky has been going for years on years, and I believe this is year 8. The space stations, oh my god, flying up to them now, they look beyond ridiculous. The grass,
Rudix,
it looks like
I
an
have a
alive
question for you.
planet. Yeah, go for it. I'm rambling.
You've played No Man's Sky. You've seen it before and after. Did they actually change the engine, or did they just add new tools to the same engine? What exactly happened?
It looks like they kept the same engine, but they reinvigorated it. They added textures, they added layers, they added a almost, I would say, less than photorealistic, but gives you that impression of realism in this world, in this art style.
It's
like they
almost like they
basically-
outdid Starfield almost.
I feel like they basically did what Rocksteady did, you know, from Arkham Asylum to Arkham Knight, where they first started with it looks a little, you know, a little heavy still, and then when it got to Arkham Knight, it was smooth. I feel like that's what they did with this system, is it looks great, and I'm definitely re-downloading it and playing it.
Shout out to those developers though for taking a game that had a bad launch, that was overpromised and underdelivered and underbaked, and look at what they've got now. Just stunning. This one developer just spent all the time to make the game exactly what they wanted it to be, and with their original idea. It's just fantastic to see.
All the updates have been free. There's been no DLC. So
It just goes to show how much good bones to a game matter, and we see so many games that have good bones, but they don't execute well. They don't flesh them out, right? And we've seen it so many times, but when you take the time to do something like that, when you care about the product that you've put into the market, I mean, we're looking at No Man's Sky, but even something like a BG3, that didn't release broken, but it released with issues. It didn't release really full, but again, it's when they have passion behind the project that they're into, then you get to see that project become true flesh and bone. It becomes its own entity, right? And when you see that, it's beautiful. And No Man's Sky has achieved that after years and years. It really has. And if anyone wants to know what they exactly did for the upgrades, they rewrote the cloud and sky rendering. They enhanced water visuals, added improved weather systems, and they increased the planetary diversity. And it's all on the same engine as you were asking, SPG. It's just upgrades with volumetric lighting, atmospheric rendering, enhanced terrain generation, just from better code, new code that they've implemented. But it's crazy what they've done. Oh, and they also collaborated with some new external developers as well. So
No.
that might be why they've pushed it forward so much. But whatever it is, it's great to see. It really is.
Yeah, thanks for the information, David. Appreciate it. But Go Maker, yeah.
Not to be a negative Nancy, but
Uh-oh.
I actually downloaded the game.
Don't go.
I actually downloaded the game last night. Because I showed the trailer to my friend. I was like, "This looks really good. We should try it out." I know I had mentioned it before that we should try playing it because he liked Starfield somewhat, and I was like, you know, this is like Starfield but multiplayer and more fun. And we were trying to go through the tutorial together. To me, granted, we landed on like a snow planet. You really couldn't see a lot of vegetation or some of these enhancements that they've done. So it all looked very similar to me from what I had played years ago. And then the tutorial was just tedious and awful. And he literally quit playing after about like half an hour and uninstalled the game immediately. So yeah, I think that it's nice that they're getting these upgrades. The problem I have is like any new player that's starting, it doesn't feel like you're really getting to see these.
Well, that's That's why I think they invented the expedition system. I think that is a better experience for multiplayer. You simply go in, both of you start from nothing, and then you have one major objective, like this new one they introduced, which is more Starship Troopers esque. That single player, like I said, it's 80 hours, it's grindy. It's basically a survival game through and through. And it's just the scope of it is so massive, and that you can invite friends to come check out your places or go hang out, but that doesn't really lend itself to the multiplayer as much as the expeditions. So I would stress that if anyone jumps into multiplayer, do an expedition. And if you want to play single player, I would just say play the single player. It's a survival game on an alien planet.
A survival RPG almost, right? Because
Yeah.
there is details. You are a specific person in this world who's got a plot to follow as well, which it didn't originally start with. Again, that's another feather in its cap, is that they've got that level of onboarding now for people so many years down the line. The 80 hours is essentially a tutorial how to play the game, right? And once you finish that, then now you can go play with your friends all the multiplayer content. It's similar to Destiny in that way.
Well, I mean,
Destiny's a little bit quicker to jump in.
Yeah, I mean, this game is its own beast, I feel.
Oh no, 100%. It's just got that similarity. Do you know what I mean? In the fact that it's got a lengthy tutorial, and then once you get through the main game, that's kind of when you get into the actual gameplay of multiplayer, and that's how Destiny works too.
Right. And then at any point you can join in, but I would definitely say the photo mode is increased, and to me the environments look that much cooler. I flew over water. I played with photo mode filters. There was a lot of things to like in No Man's Sky. If you haven't checked it out, I would definitely recommend if you have GeForce Now. And Game Pass, or if you want to pick it up, I believe it's 60% off on Steam. So lots of places, lots of ways to play it. It's even on your Mac. They released it everywhere.
Is it on PS Plus?
No.
It's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass though.
I was just asking for PlayStation.
It's not on PS Plus though. It's published by PlayStation.
Did you buy it on PlayStation?
It was originally published by PlayStation. I believe they self-published afterwards.
That trailer I just watched, the No Man's Sky Worlds deep dive, had a PlayStation exit thing, like they published it on their official webpage. But
have we talked any Flintlock this week? Have we talked that today?
Well, Flintlock's not available on GFN, so I haven't been able to play it.
I played it. I'd love it. Love it.
I just checked. On Steam, it's published by Hello Games. It's not published by PlayStation.
I wonder if it's published.
It might just be PlayStation version is published by PlayStation, but the other versions are not.
That's not complicated. All right, why don't you guys banter about Flintlock a bit, and let us know your experience with us, your initial impressions. I'll play some Flintlock here in the back. Actually, the review may give spoilers. So,
why don't you want to start?
Yeah, so I started playing it last night, and I got up at about 4 in the morning and started playing it, and if you played Forspoken or Greedfall, that's what it is. You have a musket, you got a pistol, you got an axe. You just like your typical. I mean, there's you got a parry, There's like a fighting mechanics that you got to get used to. So at first it took me a while, but then I kept going and I got used to it. And I'm digging the story. You have a god, a fox. It looks like a fox, but it's an actual god, and it gives you powers that you can upgrade the powers. And so you can hit like a LB and a Y, and that god will kill when you hit the meter. It pretty much kills all the enemies on the screen. So when you do certain hits and stuff, that meter builds up, builds up, builds up. So you can use the powers of the god. You can use your pistols. You can use your axe. You have your medicines and stuff like that. I've already upgraded my clothes. So there's rest spots and save spots, just like it was in Greenfall, where you can upgrade and all your life and everything comes back, and then you just go back and fight. So loving the game, man. I give it like a 7.5 and 8. I'm really enjoying it. So and I've already took out like a couple of bosses. So
There you
yeah,
go.
enjoy the game. And then you guys got Game Pass. Come on, you didn't have to pay $60.
Mhm.
So jump in
It
and
wasn't
play
a
it.
full price game.
Was it
No,
not? That's nice.
yeah, and the reason why I say it's mostly like Forspoken, because in Forspoken she was talking to the Bengal. Well, here you're talking to a god. So the basically the enemies are death. It's death, and they came through a portal, and so you're supposed to like take on death and all the creatures. I mean, I had to fight a giant black chicken, and it was charging me, and I had to load my musket and just shoot it in the face. And it's good. You guys are gonna like it. Gonna like it. It's a good. You'll like it. Trust me. If you don't, hey, you know what? To each his own. But I'm enjoying the game.
Well, thanks for that, Ray. Wilson, some first impressions on the title?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely a Souls-like. It is definitely a Souls-like. You're right. There's no stamina bar to manage, but you are managing a
Well,
stagger
thanks for
meter
bringing
as
that
well
up.
as yes,
Because
yeah,
the stamina bar
yeah.
is a big element of Souls games.
It is. But there isn't a stamina bar in Sekiro though, is there?
Listen,
Is there?
listen. This
Is
is my show, and you're a guest. So
There's a stamina bar in Souls games.
Moving swiftly on. It doesn't have a stamina bar, but it does have a stagger meter. And the god helps you work up the stagger meter in a very similar way that Sekiro kind of wants you to. I like it, man. It's got a few novel elements. The way that you tear down armor from people, the way that the fox aids you in combat. Ray mentioned a couple of the abilities that the fox has that are kind of OP. But you've got to charge them up with multipliers, and you've also got guns as well. So it is mostly a melee game, but the more melee hits you land, the more black powder you collect, which builds up your ammunition essentially, which is kind of like mana. And then you've got these different guns that you can use with that ammunition. It's definitely a novel take on it. I don't think I've played one that's directly like it, but it is straight out of the Souls genre. It's got the bonfires that you activate. It's got these enemies that will two-shot you or three-shot you if you're not careful. Some bosses will one-shot you. But I would give it like an 8.5 out of 10 as a first impression. I'm going to fuck a couple of gripes. I mean, you saw yesterday, Rue, the boss encounter where he just stood there and I could lace into him, right? It's not perfect yet. It needs a few fixes. And I'm not sure if I like the blocking mechanic. It's a little bit janky to block once you've already been hit. You can't just like, you get like a weird delay on your block if you time it wrong. But overall, I mean, they've done a good job. I mean, you've got all this verticality. There's a lot of maneuverability. That's one bonus. It's also got over your typical Souls game. I love the way you can fly around with the fox, and
You
there's like
tap
10
AA,
different.
tap AA.
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got all these different layers to each area that you're in. So if you go to a town, you can investigate the top of the bell tower as well as like the inside of the manor hall, and it's got like verticality as well as it's not all outside as well. So I think they've done well with this title. This is only my first impression. I only put like 3-4 hours into it yesterday. I am hoping to get it finished in the next week or two, and I'll let you know how it really was. Then I think you're wanting to do a review on it as well, aren't you, Rue? Or you're thinking about it?
Yeah, it depends if I'm able to
Yeah.
finish it or not, and
Of
and how
course.
I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like doing negative reviews all too much.
I agree with you there. I agree with you there. If you've got nothing good to say, don't say it. Right?
A
Well,
good tactic that I do.
I
A good
guess.
tactic that I do is tap AA. The way she jumps to one spot, man. You jump and you hit A, then you hit A again, and she does like a little boost in the air. That's also, I implemented that in my fighting. So when someone's charging at me, I tap AA and I jump up, and then I come back down with my axe and I strike them and parry and stuff. So, oh my god, this game, it's really good.
It is. It's definitely not very unique, but it is its own novel take on the Souls genre. They've done good to set themselves apart. It isn't just the same as any other Souls, like, you know what I mean? And that's one thing I like about it. Plus, the plot is kind of interesting.
I agree.
Well, you see, I'm still waiting for it to be on GeForce now.
Yeah,
I type in Flint. Yeah, it is.
Riff, they're just having a bit of a delay, are they?
Well, probably the outages of the entire world and probably delayed things.
No, I was right. I was right. I was right.
Yeah, well, we still have to talk about quantifiable predictions.
Okay. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Overall impression, I enjoyed it. If you've got Game Pass, go check it out. If you like a Souls game, you won't be disappointed.
All right, that's all we're going to be talking about today. Thanks everybody for joining us. Everybody give their shout outs about your shouting. Callie, where are you going to be? What can people find?
Tonight I plan on streaming around 9 p.m. Mountain Time for some Ghostbusters. So come on by, we'll bust some ghosts, and yeah. Thanks for having me on here.
Awesome. You know I love that spooky ectoplasm. And Wilson, what's going on?
Oh, I'm just hanging with all these lovely folks. Make sure you check out all the content creators in Cyborg City with all of that stuff going on. And if you're not going to watch the streams, then come hang instead.
All right, awesome. And Jem, what's happening?
I'm gonna get back into City Skylines. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for having me.
Of course, anytime. And Maker.
Catch me on Twitter and the Discord for gaming news. Maker of Chaos 12.
Awesome. And SPG.
Yes, today is going to live in infamy, at least in my soul. I'm attempting to play the Concord beta over at Simply Pwned Gaming, and I will be pwned. So come shoot me in the face.
Yeah, link in the chat there, so be sure to catch it in the top of the hour. And Ray.
SPG, make sure your eyes are closed when you get shot in the face. Guys, I can't wait to play Concord. I'm gonna jump in and play it. But look, Sunday, me and Houston, I'm gonna see if Houston wants to play Once Human. Loving that game. I'm doing Wreckfest tomorrow night, and I don't know, man. I might do some Flintlock. Probably Monday, some Flintlock. So stay tuned. But thank you, panel. Thank you, chat room. This has been awesome. Thank you, Rick.
Now, do you think the game would have done better if they made a dance move called the Flintlock and Pop?
I totally agree. Yes, I think so.
All right, panel. You've all been awesome. Let's get out of here and get loaded for some Concord. I'll catch you all on the next one. This has been The Download, another amazing episode. Join us in the Discord, link in the description below, and catch us next week. See ya, everybody. And we're off.
Bye.
Do I even need to? I die with the season leaves. I glide with the season breeze. True, my mind so easily spooked. I ride just to be the me. Oh, finds hype. for the sickest beats.